Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here. You know, this discussion today reminds me of something that I read a long time ago. It's called The Tale of Two Cities. It really is a tale of two parties. It was the best of times. No, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. No, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epic of belief. No, it was the epic of incredulity. It was the season of light. No, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. No, it's the winter of despair. The sugar high is not a sugar high. And if it's a sugar high, I got to tell you, the people back in my district love it. They are doing so much better today than they have done in so many decades, and nobody can deny the economic growth that came out of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It is undeniable. It may not be unacceptable depending on which side of the aisle you sit, but I got to tell you, for people back home, it is an incredible lift. And in one of the towns that I represent, the city of Erie has done exceptionally well with opportunity zones. We have 8 opportunity zones in Erie. Mr. Kine talked about this. The Erie Downtown Development Corporation is led by a guy named John Persinger, who's a good friend of mine, and another good friend named Matt Wachter. These guys have put together a piece that is available to everybody in the country because they are out on top of it right now. They are out and moving. And we're looking again at growth, and more growth, and investment in places that nobody would have invested in before. But because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it is bringing vitality and a dynamic economy back to these areas. The one thing, though, that I would just ask you, if you could, it comes down to trying to put together all the different ideas that we have to do, and basically, the second tranche of regulations, and this comes down to, so the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, there is some confusion on the regulations. And do you know how soon we'll be able to come out with other regulations? I gotta tell you, in the understanding of it, listen, I've never seen anything like this in my life when it comes to growth, economic growth. And when we talk about the acceleration in debt, I was here also. I was actually alive in 8 and 9 and 10, and I saw that debt goes from about 9 trillion up to over 20 trillion. At that time, there wasn't much of a murmur or even a whisper about it. It was okay. I got to tell you, I appreciate everything you've done, but when it comes to the regulations, that second tranche coming out, so like the Erie Downtown Corporation, the Development Corporation, when can people like that see? And also, I would just like to ask you, if you ever have a chance, would you please come to Erie, Pennsylvania and walk with me through the opportunity zones and see what it's like to put life back into a community because of tax policy that was done right here in this room. It's just been phenomenal.
Mr. Kelly, I'd be happy to find a time to go with you to Erie. I would look forward to that. I think the opportunity zones are important, and I want to visit the specific areas. The additional regulations are going through an internal clearance process at the moment, and we are very much trying to get them out on an expedited basis, so thank you.
Well, thank you, because the poorest zip code in Pennsylvania is in that town. Thank you.